as you can see, it's a very helpful, well-translated user manual. So I'll do my best to translate as we go. I got this frog sound QRP kit, and I think I will make another video series on how to build it. But first, a micro power wireless transceiver suite manual. A simple introduction. This is a very small volume of simple 40 meters micro power continuous cable transceiver. Use the 9-volt battery or an external 9 to 12 volt DC power supply. Can spread in good time and hundreds of kilometers in nearby provinces of amateur radio communication. This machine first introduced by domestic radio enthusiasts, and also it is a nice name, Frog Sound. So as you can see, it's a very helpful, well-translated user manual. So I'll do my best to translate as we go. This stuff is actually readable. Power supply 9 to 12 volts, antenna 50 ohms. It is not balanced. Transmission power 2 watts or 3 watts with a 12 volt supply. Frequency, launch the vibration frequency 7023 kilohertz. Work mode, the CW. So how does it work? Circuit principle. Receive part of the core is a NE602. Inside it includes an oscillating circuit and a balanced mixer, antenna in signal strength through a crystal filter, and the attenuation of potentiometer. After enter the mixer, oscillation circuit at the receiving frequency oscillation, 2 signals through mixing, directly to the SSB / the CW signal frequency conversion for audio. NE602 output again gave LM386 audio amplifier. This completes the process. So using the RF signals directly mixing into audio receiver to be called DC receiver. DC means frequency directly. LM386 amplifier output of speech signal composed of 2N7000 field effect tube mute circuit to shut down when launch receive. At the same time produce audio oscillator composed of 74HC00 side tone. Make the headset to follow, drops on clicking audio transmission. Launch part using the NE602 oscillation circuit, and then to do the buffer amplifier 9018, 9018, and as a launch button, control of sending and receiving circuit and signal switch. At the end of the class is made up of D882C amplifier after amplification, the high frequency signal after LPF filtering antenna. So that's a bunch of nonsense, but if you understand what's saying, it's saying the receiver is built around an NE602, and inside the 602 there's an oscillator and a balance mixer, a double balance mixer I believe, and there's a crystal filter on the input, and it is a direct conversion receiver. It converts directly from RF to audio. And then the audio amplifier is an LM386, and it uses a 2N7000 FET for the mute. And then it's got the quad NAND, which is a 74HC00 to make a side tone oscillator. And then it uses, for the transmitter part, it uses the NE602 oscillator, buffer amplifier, and then a final amplifier, which is class C, and a low pass filter. So and we can see all that. This is the NE602 circuit here. From the antenna here, the receive signal goes through the low pass filter, through this crystal filter, and into one of the inputs of the 602. This here is the oscillator part, and then it takes the output here, goes through this LC filter, which will only let the audio pass, and into the LM386. This capacitor here between 1 and 8 sets it to maximum gain. Then here's that 2N7000 to mute and to the headphones. You can see the mute control is on the gate here, which is connected directly to the key line, and so this diode resistor here will pull that to ground when the key closes, which will shut off the transistor. Also, when it's grounded, this diode will be shut off, and any signal that tries to get into the mixer will be shunted to ground. Here's the quad NAND oscillator. You can see it is controlled. This is the key line here. So it'll turn on when the key goes to ground. That'll start conducting, and just a simple oscillator. And that gets injected right into the headphone, well, through the capacitor into the headphone. And then on the transmitter, it's a crystal oscillator, you can see, take that output. Here's the buffer amplifier, is that part, and then the final amplifier there, and then through the low pass filter. And it does have this little bicolor LED that is green when it's receiving, and it'll turn red when you transmit. And this is just a voltage regulator up here, because the 602 and the quad NAND don't want more than about 5 or 6 volts, I forget. Well, this says it's a 78L06, so it's feeding them 6 volts. So that's essentially what it is. It's very similar to the 49er. The 49er doesn't have this LED, it doesn't have the side tone oscillator, and it doesn't have the crystal input filter, but otherwise it's basically the same circuit as the 49er. So I expect it'll perform about as well. If the mute works well, it'll probably be a lot more pleasant to use, because you won't get that annoying screeching and breakthrough. And I have a feeling this crystal filter, the input, will really help cut down on out-of-band signals, and the side tone could be nice.